In the field of transportation, electric cars offer a breakthrough that has the potential to drastically cut greenhouse gas emissions and combat climate change. However, just switching from internal combustion to electric cars would not be enough. To support the EV, you'll need a comprehensive network of infrastructure, and that is the charging network infrastructure. Since there were no charging stations at the time of Tesla's founding, the company had to create one. Now, new startups may depend on organizations such as Chargepoint and Electrify America to supply the charging network for their electric vehicles. In today's video, we'll talk about the partnership between Chargepoint and Electrify America, followed by the Electrify America and Lucid extended partnership to provide free recharging. So, stay tuned. Welcome back to New Vehicle Media, your go-to channel for EV stock. Quick reminder, subscribing's free and liking the video helps YouTube suggest similar content. Comments are loved and featured in upcoming videos. As electric vehicle sales rise to a projected 25% of the market by 2025, a robust and expanding charging infrastructure will be critical to their success. While significant advancements have been established, there is still a significant scope for exponential growth in the development of a network of charging sites to meet the rising demand and offer electric vehicle users the confidence to go to additional destinations. This is where businesses such as ChargePoints come into play. Their goal is to get as many people as possible behind the wheel of an electric vehicle. They've been hard at work putting up the infrastructure that'll be required for electric vehicles to become widespread. It won't be long until drivers experience gas anxiety instead of range anxiety. As the demand for EV charging grows, charging infrastructures increase and gas outlets vanish. Its charging network is the biggest in the world, allowing the electric vehicle revolution while also transforming the way people recharge their cars. The business is not alone in doing all the heavy lifting. Chargepoint and Electrify America have announced a roaming alliance back in June 2019, which will help to increase access to EV charging throughout the United States. The interoperability agreement would enable drivers to effortlessly charge their electric vehicles on public chargers across both networks by using their old login details to start a session without paying any extra expenses. A growing number of electric car charging stations are being established by Chargepoint, Electrify America, and other charging firms, and these partnerships are critical to increasing access to electric vehicle charging throughout the country as a wave of new electric vehicles enter the market in the coming years, making it simpler for individuals and companies to make the switch to electric cars would aid in the speedier adoption of electric vehicles across the US and across the globe. Businesses and collaborations of this kind offer a strong foundation on which EV startups may grow their business. Every new electric vehicle manufacturer gets questioned about the availability of their supercharger network. It's hard to see why they wouldn't construct one if Tesla did. For its part, Rivian has already said that it would host the Rivian Adventure Network in locations that are not often considered to be the types of places that accept or welcome electric cars, such as RJ Scaringa put it. Lucid, on the other hand, will not have Lucid chargers. Obtaining funds to support the core business of a company, much less developing its own EV infrastructure, is very tough. Lucid has the resources to support its research and development, manufacturing, and growth projects, but it does not have sufficient means to create its own infrastructure from the ground up. Therefore, for firms such as Lucid, it is wise to collaborate with companies who specialize in charging networks, which is exactly what they did. Lucid chose to partner with Electrify America because of the company's collaboration with Chargepoint, their extensive charger coverage, and the ongoing rollout of 350 kilowatt stations. One of Lucid's investor presentations highlights the reasoning for the company's decision to cooperate with Electrify America rather than build its own exclusive charging network. According to the deck, Tesla had to create its own network of superchargers since there was nothing in the way of existing charger infrastructure when the company became the first major EV participant, citing Tesla's superchargers. Tesla was compelled to invest a significant amount of money in the development of its own charging infrastructure in order to make its products competitive alternatives for internal combustion engines. In the intervening years, things have changed dramatically, and Lucid no longer finds itself in the same predicament as it did before the introduction of Electrify America's stations. Electrify America now has one of the biggest fast-charging networks in the United States, with 710 stations already operating and another 114 stations in the building phase. Overall, Electrify America presently provides 3,184 chargers. However, not all of them are the 350-kilowatt devices capable of extending the range of the air by 300 miles in only 20 minutes, but there are more than enough of these particular stations. Lucid Air was originally guaranteed a year of free charging at Electrify America stations under the terms of the agreement, but that was later increased to 3 years under the final agreement. Now that the program's initial expiry date has passed, it has been extended for a second time, this time for a total of 3 years. As per Lucid announcement, all bookings booked before June 30, 2022 are now eligible for Lucid's 3-year free charge incentive. This is a very appealing deal because drivers will only be liable to pay idle costs, or, in other words, the parking fee, if they keep their cars in the charging station ports after the charging cycle has completed, which is a deal if you ask me. If you can't comprehend it, imagine getting free gas for 3 years. The fast spread of the Chargepoint and Electrify America networks may also be credited to the rise of the electric vehicle industry, as well as to a novel economic model that puts power in the hands of station owners and drivers. Rather than being owned and controlled by the company, the stations on its network are owned and run by the companies that seek to attract and engage workers and customers who drive electric vehicles. Mobile applications, analytics, and software from Chargepoint and Electrify America enable owners to manage their EV charging stations effortlessly. They also assist drivers in finding convenient charging stations, determining station availability, and tracking their charging activity. Commercial enterprises from a range of industry verticals own and operate charging stations, and they have the option of charging or not charging customers, similar to Lucid. Because they are the stepping stones to the launch of a new electric vehicle company, they're also considered a potential investment. Customer-friendly businesses, such as Electrify America, which has partnered with Lucid to give free charging to clients, will encourage people to adopt the electric vehicle trend. It's a win-win scenario for everyone involved. But I'm interested in hearing what you have to say. Do you believe that firms involved in the charging network have made it simpler for startups to grow? Or do you believe a proprietary network would be more beneficial? Let us know what you think by leaving a comment down below. In the spirit of collaboration, we just created a video featuring the Apple and Lucid potential partnership. Cloudwalker commented that Lucid seems the only plausible option. They share similar philosophy with Apple to provide the highest-end tech in the upper price segment. Apple Car would be considered the upper price segment, so why not collaborate? Lucid is currently ramping up for itself, so he thinks it would be more of a long-term project for years or decades to come. That should wrap things up for today. Keep in mind that subscribing's still free and liking helps YouTube recognize your preferences. Thanks for taking the time to watch, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.